This is Olive Omoisi TV. You are welcome to Olive Omoisi TV. Do like, share, and drop your comment. Doing that, I appreciate you for that. This is what is going on in the part of the world now. What is your opinion? What do you think? They need your prayer or not? Just watch out. Let's go.
Fled Kyiv on the first day of the invasion.
2 days ago, I was thinking that that this war is going to finish just in a few days, and that we won't need even to leave Ukraine. But now I just can't make any plans. I don't know when I'll see my family again.
The Ukrainian refugees are almost all women and children. Absent here, husbands and fathers, men of fighting age, ordered to stay behind to defend the country.
You're going to Ukraine now?
Sure. Alexandra Shulenina was on a foreign business trip when Russia invaded. Now she's hurrying back into Ukraine to collect her children.
My husband insists that I protect our children, so I take to my son, to my niece. We go to Europe when my friend waiting for us, and he stay in Ukraine for protect our country.
Anastasia Hrankina's husband is also back in Kyiv, defending the city against Vladimir Putin's invasion.
And what would you tell people in Russia?
I would tell them, just get rid of your president. He is insane.
Safe, but now uprooted, with no idea if and when these people can ever go home. Ivan Watson, Zahom, on the Hungarian-Ukraine.
Before war broke out, many routes by air already cut off. The Russian invasion beat him to it. An office worker back in France, within a day of the invasion, Valerie had joined the Ukrainian armed forces. CNN is withholding Valerie's surname as he fears online attacks from Russians.
Nobody could realize that our neighbor, the brotherly people would attack us. Nobody could believe that. What can I do when the aircraft, when Russian aircraft are throwing bombs on the capital city? I just couldn't stay indoors, in four walls, doing nothing. So I came and I joined.
Since the Russian invasion, Ukraine has seen an outpouring of popular defiance, with tens of thousands of citizens receiving weapons from the government to join in the country's defense.
First, when I joined, when I received the weapon, I felt this sense of nausea.
This week has been a heady mix of emotions for volunteers like Valerie.
If you go outside and see the eyes of the people who are queuing up to get conscribed as well, there's a lot of hope, and there is a lot of determination to defeat the enemy.
On the other side of Europe, prayers for Valerie and his comrades. Worshippers filled the Ukrainian cathedral in Paris for its 5 Sunday services. The parish has been gathering donations and compiling a database of hosts for Ukrainian refugees they already fear will be forced to flee to Paris. The aid comes in many forms.
We keep in touch with them, we support them, even if that's psychologically. We also try to help financially, and if it's possible, we help. We care about all these situations and we want to help.
Outside, Andrei Sonsiade collects funds for his 2 best friends before they head to join the fight in Ukraine. The money, they say, will buy body armor.
It's a moment of great unison of all Ukrainians, of all our diaspora around the world.
Like many we talked to, Andrei had been sent photos from relatives in Ukraine, his 2-year-old godson sheltering in a basement. Even here in Paris, it's a stark reminder of how life in Ukraine has been turned upside down.
Life was beautiful and shiny just 2 weeks ago. finally stopped being shining and beautiful a couple of days ago when the Russians attacked.
Submission after failing to quickly occupy the country. Overnight, Russian forces entered the strategic port city of Kherson in the south. Now they're said to be strangling nearby Mariupol, where residents have been trapped without power or water. Here's correspondent Matthew Chance on what is now a war against civilians.
Russia's assault on Ukraine continues without mercy. This is what's left of a university in Kharkiv, the country's second city, amid a pounding of civilian areas.
Country's second city.
In the port city of Mariupol, also the scene of heavy shelling, local officials say hundreds of casualties are now feared. United Nations has confirmed more than 200 civilians killed across Ukraine in the week since this Russian invasion began. Ukrainian officials say the figure is much higher. You'd think those figures would scare people off the streets. But look at this scene from the town of Konotop, where a Russian officer holds up 2 grenades for protection after delivering an ultimatum demanding surrender. Shame on you, the angry crowd shouts. Just go back to where you came from. Minutes later, the local mayor sets out Russia's turn. If we start resisting, they will shell the city, he tells the crowd. But if you vote for it, we will fight back. The decision has to be taken by everyone, though, because the artillery is aimed at us, he warns. Across Ukraine, there continue to be courageous acts of civilian defiance against the Russian occupiers. This was a scene in the southern town of Melitopol, now under Russian control. Locals literally lying in front of these military vehicles to resist.
Of the Second World War have been severely damaged, but Kharkiv has not yet fallen to Russian forces. In the northern city of Chernihiv, which is about 50 kilometers from both the Russian and Belarusian borders, 33 people are reported to have been killed today when Russian forces hit residential areas. Schools and a high-rise apartment building were hit by those Russian airstrikes. Meanwhile, in the last hour or so, we've heard from the Ukrainian Interior Ministry, which says that Russian tanks have entered the area surrounding the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. That is the biggest such plant in Europe. The local mayor says the Ukrainian forces have been battling Russian troops on the city's edges. Well, so far, Kherson, a provincial capital of around 250,000 people, is the only significant urban centre to have fallen into the hands of the invading Russian forces.
Yes, a lot of civilian buildings were struck, apartment buildings where people live. My friend, who's originally from Kherson, she's in Kiev now. Her parents' house, apartment building, it was
to 6,000. Either way, the human cost of this war is already tragically high.
And of those
встретила под бомбежкой в Киеве. В Бабьем Яру погибли мои родственники. 24 февраля 22 года я опять встречаю в Киеве под бомбежкой и обстрелами. Путин, забирай свои войска и убирайся с Украины.
Це страшне, страшне. Путін, щоб ти був здох, покинь нас, покинь, сволоч нас, щоб ми тебе не бачили, не чули, хто ти, що.